In today's video, we're going to be diving back into more of the first Berserker Khazan, and for this one, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know on how to make the ultimate Greatsword build. This thing is absolutely devastating for New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus, and really helps you to tear even the toughest enemies and bosses apart. As you can see, you're going to be rocking a really cool setup, not exactly the standard setup because you're not going to be wearing any kind of a 6-piece going on. Instead, we're going to be finding the most powerful pieces, chucking them on in order to create a truly powerful build. Now with the setup we're going to be using, the main thing you'll be doing as a kind of go-to is going to be your Murderous Blow. This thing does a whole bunch of damage, it's really easy to pull off, and it also allows you to follow up with a nice heavy attack, which again consistently deals out massive amounts of damage on your bosses. The weapon we're going to be going to, obviously for this then, is going to be probably the best greatsword in the game, and that's going to be the Sentinel's Greatsword from the Crimson Fiend set. As soon as you manage to get this weapon to epic or above rarity, you'll be unlocking Mortal Blow Murderous, making you able to pull off some absolutely devastating damage very fast and easy. You'll go chain a light charged attack into 2 heavy charged attacks, dealing massive damage in a really nice timely fashion. So we'll be taking advantage of this by putting set pieces together that can help you with your charged attack, but also maintaining the durability and survivability of a well-rounded tanky build. Remember, with these gear pieces I'll be showing you, as soon as you're able to get them to epic, you're going to get 1 fixed attribute, and when you start getting them at legendary tier, you're going to get 2 fixed attributes. First one with this sword is why we're going to be using it, because it's going to give us Mortal Blow Murderous, and the second fixed attribute is going to be your charged attack damage increase by 10%. What we're going to be going for with this build is just making our charged attacks pretty much as powerful as possible, but also giving you a whole bunch of survivability going on, making you very tanky and durable in all of these fights. Even if you're not the best with a greatsword, you'll be able to plough your way through everything once you start putting this build together. The fixed attributes you're going to want on this sword are going to be charged attack damage, charged attack multiplier, and as well as that, charged attack damage. This will help you to generate a whole bunch of damage fast. Because we've got the Jarhead going on, we're going to be picking up a whole bunch of the 2-piece bonuses going on with these sets. And for the sword, the first one we're going to pick up is going to be your enraged damage increase of 15%, so you get extra damage whenever you're under 50% stamina when you're doing your hits. Going over to the head slot, and integral to this build, you're going to make sure you've got a jar head going on, as otherwise this build will not work in the slightest, but it doesn't really matter what jar head you've got. Personally, I'd go with the most special jar. It's kind of going to give you a little bit of extra damage going on, but the main reason you're going to be using it is because of the minor set requirements for your gear sets. For the modifiers on it, again, you're going to want to try and get a little bit of damage going on, so try to get charged attack damage increase, stamina recovery just to help you with your stamina overall, and defense just to make you a little bit tankier. Over to your chest piece, and for this one we're going to be after the Devourer's Pauldrons. First fixed attribute you get if you've got epic or above is going to be your rear assault stamina damage, and when you get these at the legendary tier, you also for your second one going to get composed damage increase of 5% as well. Composed damage is whenever you're above 50% stamina, and you'll find this kicking in very often. For the roles that you're going to want on your modifiers, I found by far and away the best. Try and make yourself really well rounded and tanky, so grab yourself some extra defense, some received damage decrease, and stamina recovery once more, helping with your stamina regen. For the 2-piece going on with the set bonus, now we're going to have 10% extra confront damage whenever you're fighting a single target, perfect for bosses. We're going to have 10% increased damage going on. For the hands, we're going to be going with the Crushed Dreams wrist guards, and the first fixed stat you get at epic or above will be enemy electrocution damage by 5% extra. The second one is going to give you confront damage increase. For the modifiers that you're going to want on these wrist guards, it's going to be your charged attack damage multiplier. For the second one, you're going to want charged attack damage. I've got attack damage because I could not roll it for the life of me. And then finally, last one you're going to want is charged attack damage increase. The 2-piece set bonus going on for the Crushed Dream set is going to be confront damage 10% going on once more. Over to the Fallen Lord's leggings, and these are part of the Fallen Lord set. For the fixed stats on these ones, you're going to get something that will not help us in the slightest. The first one's to do with full moon, so it's only for the speed builds, but the second one's really nice because it's a charged attack damage multiplier. Other than that, the fixed rolls you're going to want to grab on it is going to be stamina recovery, received damage increase, and of course defense once more. And again, the 2-piece set bonus going on with the Fallen Lord set, probably the main reason we're using this is because you get 10% extra on your charge damage. Now for the last piece of armour, one that may seem like a little bit of an odd choice because it is lightweight, we're going to be using the Fugitive Mage's shoes. For the fixed stats on the legendary tier items, you're going to grab yourself guard stamina damage decrease, as well as something we're after, charged attack damage increase, and then the modifiers you're going to roll on it is going to be your charged attack damage multiplier, followed by some rounding out of the build by giving yourself some stamina recovery and received damage decrease. Reason we're going to be using this, it gives us a really nice bonus for our 2-piece, which is going to be charged attack damage increase of 10%. For the jewellery, we're going to be using 1 piece of the Unending Tragedy set, and this one we're going to be using the necklace of the Singing Hawk. This is really good because it gives you a nice amount of stamina, an extra 100 going on, as well as some composed damage increase with your fixed stats modifiers. For the ones you want to roll yourself, you're going to want to make sure you get charged attack damage multiplier, charged attack damage, and then finally, if you can, receive damage decrease once again to make you even more tanky. Great thing about this, for the 2-piece, it gives a massive 15% composed damage extra. And then lastly, to make yourself even more rounded and extra durable, we're going to have one piece of the strategist set, and this is going to be the strategist ring. Fixed modifiers you'll get on this at legendary status is going to be stamina recovery of 10% and receive stamina damage decrease of 5%. For the rolls, the first one I could not get in the slightest, but you're going to want charged attack damage increase, but if you can't get that, just get yourself damage increase. Then grab yourself some extra defense, and of course charged attack damage as well, in order to make yourself truly powerful whenever you're doing those big chunky charged attack hits. For the 2-piece bonus, again because of the jar head now, we've got 50% receive damage decrease 30% of the time. This works out amazingly with all the durability we've got going on in the build that can really help you to survive even the toughest battles. Now at this point, because it was New Game Plus Plus, my stats are completely maxed out at 350, so tweak these to however much you've got going on at the time, but I found this worked out really well in order to dish out a lot of damage but also give me a whole bunch of survivability. Main ones you want to focus on however is going to be your strength, as that's going to be your damage base, as well as helping you to increase your agility, and then after that proficiency is going to help you to get a little bit of stamina damage but also a little bit extra damage as well, and then of course endurance, because without endurance you are going to be absolutely awful. Finally, vitality works out really nicely. The higher you can put this, the easier it's going to be to fight those tough bosses, especially if you're like me and you find yourself getting hit probably a lot more often than you should have, and I found as long as you've got around about 55 plus, it made most of the endgame bosses pretty easy. For your phantoms, you've got 3 main ones you'll probably want to use as your go-to. Adelaide the Philanthropic is going to be amazing for anyone who wants a little bit more health regen and wants a bit of tankiness about themselves, as you'll be able to gain a little bit of Netherworld energy whenever you've got none left and you're hitting enemies with that brutal attack. But the main thing is, at level 2, you also get your damage decrease taken by 20% for 30 seconds whenever you're using Netherworld energy to heal up. This makes you very survivable and can really help out with all of the other damage negation you've got going on with your setup. If however you're after something that gives you a little bit of extra damage and you just want a little bit of straightforwardness, then you can never go wrong with Wolfric the Resilient. This one's going to give you extra attack damage from whenever you're facing enemies from the front, and as well as that, it'll also generate a little bit of spirit whenever you're doing perfect counters. Finally, another one that really comes into play and a lot of people might want to take advantage of would be Keshta the Unyielding. This is going to be your go-to if you're after a little bit more stamina recovery and you want to make your fights just a little bit easier overall with your stamina regen. Now for this last part, I'll be going over the skill tree and which skills you should pick up, but honestly this one's going to be down to how many actual skill points you have, because at this stage I had probably a whole bunch more than I should have. For your swift attack tree, make sure you pick up the first one, and then the main thing you're going to be after is going all the way down on your mortal blow side, because you're going to be focusing really heavily on that, as that's where pretty much all of your damage is going to come from. Pick up mortal blow, then make sure you pick up all of the additional ones that you can get for this. Because of the weapon we're going to be using, you're going to get mortal blow, murderous, which works absolutely perfect. Whenever you can, you're going to use a charged light attack into a charged heavy attack, and if you've got a bit of time about yourself, then you can use a charged heavy attack right at the end of that combo as well. For your potent blow tree, a couple that you're definitely going to want to pick up. First one is going to be your manifest power, as this is going to give you a little bit more reach on your heavy charged attacks. Then your ghost arm if you want to do a little bit of blocking, and of course if you're able to, pick up a little bit of spirit boost. Limit break is definitely one you want to grab as well while you're here, and almost essential to the build because it really helps you out with your damage is going to be your Phantom Knight's Vow. This is going to be great because whenever you're pulling off those charged attacks, you're now going to do additional damage in kind of a circular area effect, which works absolutely hand in hand with what we've got going on with our build. For Unbreakable, anything that you can put in that helps you with a little bit of extra kind of negation to your build, so if you want to grab a little bit of Warcry, that can be great. But ultimately this one does need a bit of a buff. I think it's pretty good on your standard enemies and medium sized. On some of the bosses I found this one was a little bit lackluster, even though I did still use it for a little bit of additional damage reduction. Inner Fury however is one that you probably will want to pick up because that can really help out if you're using your charged attacks. For your overrun you're probably going to want to pick up things like combat cadence and then anything that helps you with a little bit of additional stamina. So anything So anything that's going to negate your stamina costs or make it a little bit easier and more efficient, try and pick them up whenever you can, as long as you've got the skill points available. And over to your guard setup, exactly the same again. The main ones you want to pick up, anything that can help you with your stamina reduction or stamina cost, and of course if you want to, pick up a bit of counter strike, as that can really help you out if you start to get good with its spirit art. Over to your resources, exactly the same again. However much you've got available, try to chuck it in here. Being able to generate a whole bunch of spirit really makes your life a whole bunch easier, and depending on your playstyle, you're going to want to put it into things such as whenever you attack enemies you get extra spirit, or whenever you're getting hit, or whenever you're blocked. But anything you can put into this skill tree always works out perfect. Reflection, completely down to yourself. I did not use this in the slightest on my first or second playthrough. On my third I started to get good at it, and honestly this can make some of the toughest bosses such as Ozma very easy. So if you want to invest in this and you've got the extra skill points, go for it, because reflection is actually really powerful. Brutal attacks, once more, when you can start charging these up, chuck everything into here. It's going to make your brutal attacks even more deadly. But don't forget, a lot of times you'll want to try and hit the enemies from behind with your overhead charged attack before using your brutal attack, because that's where most of your damage is going to come from. Javelin, we're not going to be using in the slightest, so just chuck in whatever you want into this. If you want to try and boost up its damage, that's great. And for your counter attack, remember you'll be using this constantly, so again, if you can put some extra into it, it definitely does tend to help you out. Finally, over to your phantom form, and for this one, just whatever you can spare. Do not worry too much about it. You probably won't be using this too much at all, but the main one you will want to use is going to be down the middle here, right in the centre, because it's going to be your kind of extra life. So if things do go wrong, phantom form Death's Denial can help you to have a kind of second wind and then heal up after you should have probably fallen over. Yeah, all in all, that's pretty much the whole setup. Hopefully it helps a few of you guys and girls out. I am far from the best with Greatsword, as I've not used it anywhere near as much as some of the other weapons, but I found it quite easy with this build. It will tackle and take down the toughest enemies in New Game Plus Plus. As always, there's going to be a whole bunch more content from me. For now, take care. I'll see you on next day.